Good evening, viewers. We have today a very prominent guest, Mr. Pankaj Singh, the advocate. Pankaj, can you hear me?
Yeah, there was some break.
I think so. So there may be some internet issue or something. But anyway, so Pankaj, the agenda of discussion is today about the Rohingya because
Hmm.
these days they are in core of the news across the nation that very recently or not very recently when on last Friday
Hmm.
the Okay, so I'm very sorry that I think there is some network issue. That is why we are getting some
Hmm.
problem. So again, I reiterate that we'll discuss on Rohingya. So I would very quickly I would seek your opinion on Rohingya issues in India as of now.
Okay, I'll try to give you a very broader perspective right now because I have worked with UNHCR and especially with Rohingyas from
Sure.
2013 till
Hmm.
2016. And
Hmm.
as an asylum officer, I have interviewed approximately 500 Rohingyas, individual Rohingyas, and including family members. So the difficulty as an asylum officer, what I found was it was very difficult even for me. I was well trained to identify Rohingyas. So identification and verification was the biggest problem that I faced personally and even UNHCR is facing because they have entered India in different times and they have different claims and they have entered without documents. So now
Okay.
identification becomes very crucial in order to deport them because as per the Indian law, they are illegal immigrants because according to the Foreigners Act, anyone entering Indian territory without valid documents or with forged documents, they are considered to be as an illegal immigrant. So now what UNHCR does, they give them benefit of doubt. Even
Hmm.
without having documents, they give them asylum in the first instance and then they give refugee status. Now, who give asylum? Whoever enters Indian territory doesn't become asylum seeker automatically, but there are NGOs partner who are working with UNHCR, for example, HRLN, LN, and SLIC, and there are Daji, and then there is an erstwhile NGO called as Kova that was working in Hyderabad. These are the NGOs partner who are working with UNHCR and they give asylum. I
Hmm.
mean, asylum means this is a temporary residence and they cannot return back. So a case has emerged in the Supreme Court. A case was filed by one Rohingya called as Salimullah and Zafarullah in 2017 when they were about to be deported. But now the question arises whether they are Rohingyas or whether they are Bangladeshis, because culturally and linguistically they are same, right? And many of the Bangladeshis who have entered India illegally, they also claim that they are also Rohingyas, and then there is a intermarriage between them. For example, a Bangladeshi male is marrying to a Rohingya female and a Bangladeshi female is marrying to a Rohingya male. So this inter marriage is very much prevalent. So now what UNHCR has done for the
Hmm.
there is a folly, there is a loophole in the entire refugee status determination process of UNHCR that they are giving refugee status also to Bangladeshi. For instance, I am a Bangladeshi man who have entered with a Rohingya female to India, so the family members cannot be separated. So if the female Rohingya is getting a refugee status with UNHCR, So the male member who is a Bangladeshi, he is also getting refugee status. So now basically they are legal because UNHCR document is legal as per the international law, but government of India does not recognize this. So these
Okay.
are some of the points that I wanted to bring it to the notice to the government of India, and I have also submitted a dossier to the Ministry of Home Affairs and the MEA that
Hmm.
identification and verification should be strictly done, should be done by the government of India. We cannot rely on the refugee status determination process of the UNHCR and their implementing partners NGOs. Now
Hmm.
how NGOs are getting benefit of this? Because more the number of Rohingyas come here in India, the more the fund they will be getting from UNHCR, because UNHCR is getting millions of dollars as a fund from the headquarters for the protection
Hmm.
of of the rights of Rohingyas, right? So now what they are doing, that these funds are given to these NGO partners to spend on them. I don't know if they are spending that money on Rohingyas or not. I have interacted myself to many Rohingyas, and they say, and they are blaming UNHCR that UNHCR is getting a huge number of funds, a huge fund in dollars, and a penny is being spent to on them. That means NGOs are keeping all this money. And what these NGOs are doing, they are using this money for anti-national activities. Many of the Rohingyas were used in the CAA protest, and it is well documented, right? So the issue is very large, and also they are being protected by various political parties for their political agenda in West Bengal or in Delhi, or by some party in Uttar Pradesh, by some political parties in Hyderabad,
Hmm.
right? In 2017, government of India issued a very strict guidelines to all the DGPs of all the state that identification and verification process should continue.
Hmm.
It didn't happen unless and
Hmm.
until Supreme Court in 2020 directed the government of India to start deporting 60 Rohingyas who were detained by in Jammu, and who were detained in Jammu. It is a very
Hmm.
much celebrated case when they said that they cannot return back because the situation in Myanmar is not okay because of the military coup. But Supreme Court has said them very clearly that the Supreme Court here in India is no one to look into the affairs of Myanmar, but rule of law should follow. Yes, so
Hmm.
government, so now the what government should do, that according to the rule of law, they should contact the Myanmar authorities to find out if they have origin in Myanmar or not. So I know that Myanmar government will never acknowledge their presence of their family members, or they will never trace that these
Hmm.
Rohingyas were from northern Rakhine state or Arakan state. I am pretty much sure. So now where they can be deported? So that means they are not Rohingyas. So they are not Rohingyas. So they are Bangladeshis. So they should be deported back to Bangladesh. So I wonder why government is not deporting to Bangladesh, if government of India has a very good relationship with Bangladesh, and there is an island called as Bhasanchar where many of the existing Rohingyas who are living in Bangladesh in various refugee camps like Cox Bazar, Kutupalong, they are being transferred with a memorandum of understanding with UNHCR. So I urge government of India also to have a tripartite agreement between UNHCR Bangladesh, government of Bangladesh, and government of India, so that they can
Hmm.
facilitate, because they cannot live in India for long, because we know that they are having illegal documents, and they are being used by various political parties during the election times. They are
Hmm.
getting direct protection from various political parties. So this is
Okay.
the overall perspective of Rohingya issues. And one thing more, that there are well documented evidences that Rohingyas in India are involved in anti-national activities against the government of India. They are well
Hmm.
trained, and even the country of origin information that is of the UNHCR, it says
Hmm.
that they have direct nexus with Tablighi Jamaat. They have direct nexus with organizations like ARSA or RSU, and they are well trained military group. Every Rohingyas were supposed to join ARSA, and they were trained. and they know how to use weapon, especially the men. I'm talking about the young men who can be profiled as men of fighting age. I cannot say
Mm-hmm.
about women, I cannot say about children, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right. All right. So my next question that goes to you, the role of UNHRC, because many of the news report which are coming across that the somehow the UNHRC is not doing well as per the law of the land, and they are trying India to put to make as a Rohingya colony. So how do you say is this a threat for the country?
it's a big threat for the country, and
Hmm.
government of India is not interfering into the affairs of UNHCR, surprisingly, because
Hmm.
India is not the signatory of 1951 convention, but
Correct.
they have allowed UNHCR to function in the Indian soil.
Hmm.
UNHCR is doing something that is illegal prima facie. They are
Hmm.
welcoming refugees, these Rohingyas, and they are giving them benefit of doubt. We don't know they are Rohingyas or Bangladeshis. So we are
Hmm.
giving them refugee card, and I mean UNHCR is giving them refugee card, and they are being protected as per international law. So
Correct.
UNHCR has done a lot of devious act. For example, without identification, without proper verification, without knowing the fact
Hmm.
that from where they are coming, asking
Hmm.
very few questions like place of origin, where they are, let's say where they are coming from, and asking few bit of question from Myanmar, naming the villages and what are the threats they have faced. Based on these claims, they have given them refugee status, and it is very dangerous for India in coming times, because
Hmm.
we don't know the actual number of population.
Hmm.
Since 2016 till 2022, we are seeing that UNHCR, if you see the UNHCR data, it says that
Hmm.
only 25,000 Rohingya refugees are in India. It cannot be true. They have also fudged with their data, and
Hmm.
they are not sharing their complete data with the government of India.
Hmm.
Rohingyas are well spread across India. They enter through Bangladesh border and live for a considerable period of time in West Bengal. They should be
Hmm.
identified there, and then only, and they should be deported. Same thing should happen in Assam. Now the things is happening. For instance,
Hmm.
we must have seen that NIA
Hmm.
have cracked down few conspirators who were involved in human trafficking,
Hmm.
right? So even these NGO partner of UNHCR also are directly involved, because more, and they fund these traffickers to bring more
Okay.
number of Rohingyas,
Hmm.
so that their numbers increases here in India, and in return they are getting projects for the various projects for Rohingyas. They are getting
Hmm.
$1 million, UNHCR, and there are partner NGOs who are implementing partners, and
Hmm.
UNHCR is just a monitoring body. So they completely rely on these NGOs. So NGOs,
Hmm.
I have evidence by myself, I have seen that these NGO partners directly have a connection and nexus with these traffickers, especially in Hyderabad, right? And also in
Especially in
Jammu.
Hyderabad. Okay.
Hyderabad and Jammu, they were
Okay.
evicted. Yeah.
So these two places which you are, naming, the Hyderabad and Jammu and Kashmir. So that's one that there are a lot many Rohingya are there, and I think very recently there was some information coming from that their buildings are bulldozed by the government because they were illegally occupied those places. So Pankaji, I believe you must have informed to the government of India as well on this. So hello. So I'm asking that I hope that you would have you must have informed the government of India as well on this, that how the things are happening around, and how do you see that government is not much active on this part? Why
No,
so?
government is active. The central government is active. There is
Hmm.
no collective effort from the state government.
Okay.
And I will say directly, the state which are not governed or ruled by the BJP government at present.
Hmm.
Otherwise, government is strict. See, for example, Assam. Assam
Hmm.
government has taken a step to identify them and to deport them. There are many Rohingyas who are in detention center in Assam, and they are being gradually processed for their deportation process. But there are many Rohingyas also in Jharkhand. There is no identification and verification done by the police.
Hmm.
Police is not even aware if they are Rohingyas or Bangladeshi. They are taking it very casually. Same applies in Maharashtra. There are many, and recently we have seen that there is growing number of Rohingya population also in Bangalore, also in Karnataka. But
Absolutely.
the population of Karnataka are very much vigilant. They are reporting on a day-to-day basis to the local authorities, to their local leaders, and it has been brought to the light of the police, right?
Absolutely, and even the government, if you remember, the last year, the government of Karnataka, they had informed the Supreme Court that they are not they are not planning yet to deport them from the Bangalore to somewhere else. So is this also, a kind of negligence that the state government, even it is the BJP ruled state, they are also not paying much attention, although they should do it.
No, no. It needs a collective effort because the entire law that governs deportation, etc., relies on the central government. Central government has a clear policy that there will be deportation following the rule of
Hmm.
law. But
Okay.
identification and verification must be done by the state government, like Karnataka has done. But
Hmm.
Karnataka government cannot deport them. It has to be facilitated by the central government. But
Hmm.
now it comes to the central government willingness to deport
Hmm.
them, how and when.
So is that you are stating that the central government is not willing to deport?
No, they want to deport. They want
Okay.
to deport and they will deport, but they are following the rule of law. Now the government agencies have to find their place of origin. This is what the Solicitor General of India has said to the court, to the Supreme Court. That rule
Okay.
of law will follow provided,
Hmm.
and they will identify with the Myanmarese government if they are from northern Rakhine state or Myanmar. If they
Hmm.
are not, so they are not from Myanmar. So where they should be deported? If they are not Rohingya, so that means
Okay.
they are Bangladeshis because they have come without documents. They don't have
Hmm.
documents. Now,
Okay.
when they come to India, they are given Indian documents, Indian passport, Indian Aadhaar card, voter
Hmm.
ID. It makes the work more difficult. So
Hmm.
we all have to be very vigilant. Who are these people, and we should report it to the local police or the local authorities if we find this suspected people around us.
Hmm.
I know a case in Jharkhand in 2002 and 3. Two young men, I mean, a boy and a girl, came to India, right?
Hmm.
And they don't know from where they came. They both get married in Jharkhand. They were living in Jamshedpur. But the
Hmm.
girl, just because of curiosity, contacted her family members in Bangladesh. That means she is having some root in Bangladesh. So
Hmm.
she went to Bangladesh, but she is unable to return. This man also wanted to join her family member in Bangladesh, but he was arrested by the immigration in Calcutta, and the Jamshedpur police was intimated.
Hmm.
But an order was passed. He got the bail from the session court in Jamshedpur, but then the case was referred to the central agencies, and again they are finding it difficult whether to deport it to Bangladesh or whether to deport him to Myanmar because they
Hmm.
are unable to identify them. So basically, the entire rule of law procedure takes time, but it will happen.
Okay. I have a question here. It seems to, a little bit a technical one, but I would seek your clarification. You said that the government of India has to identify that where they are from, right? Origination. And at the other hand, you are also stating that they don't have documents, so the government of India is unable to, establish the fact that from where they have come from, right? So is this but then what is the solution? Because if the government does not have any idea, and even people they don't have any document, then how the government can compel them to go out of India?
Yeah, that is, I mean, it's I mean, very good question. But I'll
Hmm.
say that government can do it if the police is well trained.
Hmm.
The central agency should train the local police how to identify them, how to be asked questions with them. How in
Mm,
UNHCR we were identifying. I have myself rejected maybe 150 people whom I found that they are not Rohingyas, they are
mm,
Bangladeshis. I asked them, let's say 150 questions about their place of origin. They
mm,
had no idea that they are from Myanmar. They had more idea of Bangladesh. So there is a
mm.
reasonable possibility or reasonable likelihood that they are from Bangladesh, right?
Okay.
So now
Mm,
what government of India should do? Government of India should make a profile of this person and send it to the Bangladesh authorities to trace their family members.
mm,
And of course, if their fathers, their grandfathers must be living there, this is how they may be identified and they can be deported,
mm.
right? But government of India is not doing a lot of effort because we are relying completely on Foreigners Act. And
Okay.
since we are not signatory of 1951 convention, that is
Mm.
why we don't have refugee law. So once we have the refugee law, I am not a prominent proponent of refugee law, because if
Absolutely.
because if I say that government of India should sign 1951 convention, yes, then the
Mm,
work of deportation will become easy. But then you will be having a burden to
mm,
admit the refugees also. Then you cannot deny it.
mm.
Right now,
Because
government of
as far
India is in a
I
position. Yeah,
That's right. So as far as I have little knowledge about the convention that which connect with 1951 to the status of refugee, was the first comprehensive attempt to define refugee and chartered in a detailed guidelines to host country to ensure the adequate protection and preservance of the rights of all refugee. And I believe that India has not signed yet, right? So I think maybe you could be the right person to answer this question or to make a certain clarification there. If the government of India has not signed, I think the government should also not be held responsible. Why these refugees are coming to India? They shouldn't come. If I have not, as a country, if the India has not signed yet, they shouldn't come to India. The
absolutely. But
UNHRC or any organization that seems to be,
Hmm.
the for father of those refugee, they should take in their own hand. They should get them in West or elsewhere.
No, absolutely. But even though India has not signed 1951 convention, but
Hmm.
India has signed other treaties. The other treaties like prevention against torture, right?
Okay.
And there are other protocols and other even charters relating to I mean humanitarian need. Government
Hmm.
of India is the signatory and they have also ratified. Let's say there is a war like situation, or either there is a war in Ukraine. Tomorrow, if Ukrainians want to come to India, should government allow the Ukrainians or not? Of course, government will allow the Ukrainians to come to India and seek asylum, right? Same thing happened with same thing happens with Hindu and Sikh refugees who
Hmm.
are coming from Afghanistan and from Afghanistan, right? So
Hmm.
it may hamper the entire exercise if we will be very selective
Hmm.
just against the just against the Rohingyas, right? So I want
Hmm.
to just conclude by answering your question that government of India cannot be selective in their approach. They should have a law. They should have a complete.
Absolutely.
At present, if
Hmm.
anyone who enters Indian territory without passport, they should be denied. Many Ukrainians who may not come, who may come to India, but they have lost their passport, and they have lost their passport, and somehow through the help of smugglers or
Hmm.
some criminals, they have
Okay. I believe we lost. Yeah.
yes,
So I think we have lost
yeah.
you in between. So I would request you to please repeat the sentence that you said earlier.
No, no. I said that there cannot be a selective approach
Hmm.
only against the Rohingyas, but there should be a uniformity in the law. Many Hindu and Sikh, they have no documents, but they have entered India, and government of India has allowed them to enter
Absolutely.
India. For example, let's see Hindus and Sikhs coming from Afghanistan. Many
Hmm.
Hindus and Sikhs, they don't have documents. right?
Okay.
Many Ukrainians will come to India, or they may come to India. They must have lost their passport. Now, what is the
Mm.
stand of the government? Government of the government the role of government will come later, but they will approach UNHCR, and UNHCR will give them refugee status on based on the benefit of doubt.
Mm.
Now the I say that the entire identification and verification should be done with the government of India, because government of India is the only authority that is well equipped to do the entire verification exercise, because if
Mm.
some because it is directly related to the internal security of India.
Mm.
Government of India cannot completely rely on the credibility exercise done by the UNHCR.
Okay. That's right, but the problem which I can relate with, that the government somewhat somewhere the government is completely rely on the NGOs or the UNHRC, right? Still
Yes.
there, still there. And now I'm coming to the question that you raised in a broader way, that you said that Ukrainian may come to India with this,
Yeah.
but my point is that we have lot many problem in India. We have, more than a billion of people living in India. We are already accommodating prosecuted minority from the other country, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh. Then why do we still accepting those people, those refugee? I think they should go west.
No, yeah, true, but there will be international ramification, because India is a democratic country and India is signatory of UN. India has maintained a very high standard with UN. So India cannot outrightly diplomatically deny their entry.
Mm.
So that is why they have allowed their entry. But then the process of there should be some intervention by the government of India also. They cannot
So I
outrightly
believe
stop it. Yeah.
that's right, but I believe the government of India should form a law for the uniformity,
Yeah,
that
but
who
if they
should be
form a
accepted, who
law,
should not be
if they
accepted.
form a yeah, but then there is a problem, because
Mm.
it's a very liberal approach. When you form a law, you will be obliged to give them protection. Right now, the refugees or the asylum seekers living in India, there is no obligation from the government of India to provide them with livelihood. At present, there is no obligation from the government of India to provide them with the job or internal protection or physical protection. It entirely lies with the UNHCR.
Okay.
If they make the law, so the entire protection or the durable solution will be the government of India will be obliged to provide them with the protection. And like you said, why government of India should protect them or give them
Mm.
livelihood if there are some problems in our own country, right? So that is
Mm.
why I am not proponent that of the fact that a refugee law should be made.
That's all right. I think
But only there should be a step ahead. There should be intervention by taking the role of UNHCR, by curbing the role of UNHCR. Government of India should come forward and do the entire verification exercise, and UNHCR may be allowed to function in India and do whatever they are doing, but restricting them only to the protection regime. They can protect their refugees,
Mm.
because they are the mandate. These refugees will be the mandate refugees of UNHCR. But the verification exercise or the identification exercise should be completely done with the by the government of India only.
Okay, all right. So, Pankajji, my next question that goes to you, that if the states are not supporting the government of India as far as deporting the Rohingya
Hmm.
illegal migrant is concerned, how the central government should take it forward? Because in most of the states, in some of the states, there are there are opposition party they are ruling these states. So, how the government of India should take it forward, or what are the remedy to ensure that all these illegal migrants should leave India as soon as possible?
You know that a lot has been talked about NRC,
Hmm.
right? And there are many matters that are pending with NRC issues in the Supreme Court of India. and NRC is a very good step to identify the illegal immigrants and the place and to identify the place of origin of the people who are Indian and who are not Indian as per the existing law.
Okay.
So matter is pending in the Supreme Court. So let's see how the matter proceed, and it is evolving in nature. So once these laws should be implemented by all the states in India, and there should be uniformity in the law. Like
That's
we
all
have
right.
said, there are many legal hassles and political, hassles. Like we have passed the law for the CAA, but
Hmm.
we have not been able to frame the rules of CAA. So first we should do
Absolutely.
this, and then it comes to NRC. But then there will be political ramification. Also, government of India will have to face, the existing ruling party will have to face lot of rebuttals, a lot
Hmm.
of oppositions from different state. So maybe there is political equilibrium will be disturbed. Election is coming in 2024. So maybe this is not a good time for the government of India to make a law in NRC and to get it implemented through the entire state in India.
In that case, if I go by your logic, this will continue to happen in India. We have
Yeah,
seen in CA,
yeah,
we were absolutely
it will continue, but there will be an end. So it may take some time. These are larger issues. It cannot be settled within 4 years or 5 years or 10 years. Nobody was knowing about Rohingya since until 2017.
correct.
Right, nobody was knowing about Rohingya issues, and who are Rohingyas and what is their connection with terrorist active organizations like ARSA or RSO. So gradually,
Correct.
people are knowing, the top leadership is are knowing, even the leaders in the opposition, they are knowing who are Rohingyas, right, and
Hmm.
what is their political affiliation. So the more we
Okay.
talk about Rohingyas, the more we talk about the existing problem. There is a
Hmm.
narrative being set in in the western part of the country that Western countries like Rohingyas are the most persecuted population in the entire world. But
Hmm.
they fail to acknowledge that even Hindus are the Hindus are also persecuted, and UN is not acknowledging it. Hindus are persecuted, Kashmiri Pandits were persecuted, but
Correct.
UN has not acknowledged it, international bodies have not acknowledged it till date. Can you imagine? So a narrative has to be set out for the Hindus, for the Kashmiri Pandits, and then the narrative has to be changed for the Rohingyas. I cannot comment if Rohingyas are being persecuted or not, because my government of Myanmar says that they are targeting the military over there. So which story is
Hmm.
correct? We don't know. Many
Correct.
Western media like New York Times, they portray a very scary pictures of Rohingyas. Villages have been burned. But if you see the statement of the government of Myanmar, it is totally opposite. I don't see
Absolutely.
any kind of narrative being set out for Kashmiri Pandits who were forced to leave their homeland. I don't see any narrative being built for the Hindus who are persecuted in Pakistan and Bangladesh, and also in Afghanistan also.
Correct. Correct. So is that not the hypocrisy of United Nations? I mean, if they are not talking about, in those prosecution or the Kashmiri Pandit, and there are, so many things that happen in the past also in Northeast or in West Bengal itself. But despite the fact that the UN or the relevant bodies are not talking about this, rather they are taking it very selectively.
Yeah, because you see that this, to change the narrative, it takes time.
Okay.
UN is you will be surprised how UNHCR or UN bodies or UN organization even are presenting the ruling party. You have
Hmm.
seen a propaganda that Muslims are being persecuted in India. That is entirely wrong. That is a half-baked story, right? And UNHCR condemns India in these considering these facts. Even they say that
Correct.
RSS is an extremist body, they are a militant group. So we need to counter them. So there are diplomatically it can be done,
Hmm.
and it can be done through party leadership, it can be done through politically also. So narrative, I mean, to change, to make the narrative and to have a actual effect, how the things will change, it will take some time. So for the present ruling party, it is only 7 years. Nothing was done by the previous government. They wanted to have OHCHR office in Delhi, so that
Okay.
they can report the human right violation happening in India, and UNHCR and UN body can condemn the government of India every now and then. So at that point of time, the previous government was correct. I will just acknowledge it, that
Hmm.
they denied the presence of OHCHR in India. But now you see many journalists, many writers, many Western media, how they are projecting India and the internal security problems in India
Hmm.
abroad. Let's say there are narrative happening, even staffs are involved. They say that there is a Muslim genocide happening in India.
Absolutely.
So
Even one thing which is very crucial to discuss, that the person who came to India illegally and how they are getting their Aadhaar card, PAN card, the ration card, and all the
the
benefits.
entire mafia is involved. The entire mafia is
So how
involved.
this can be stopped?
The political parties are involved. The entire mafia is involved. The people working with the government is involved. Making Aadhaar
Hmm.
card is so easy. Making a PAN card is so easy.
Hmm.
So now changes are being made. eKYC has been made mandatory. So things are getting difficult for them, right? So we have seen,
Absolutely.
I have seen many Rohingyas are having Indian passport, and now from India they are able to travel to Dubai. They are able to travel to Saudi Arabia, even to the European countries. And
Hmm.
Rohingyas living in India, they are not living very poorly. They are getting fund from their people, the other Rohingyas living in Malaysia, Indonesia, and even European countries. And every
Hmm.
now and then they are going to Europe. So entire traffickers, I mean, the ecosystem of the trafficker and the NGOs and the UNHCR or UN agency is so strong. So after
Hmm.
living in India for a period of time, they go in a very easily making fake passport to even to the European countries. I myself know that many have
Okay.
approached them. They wanted me to assist them. At that point of time, I said that I am a UNHCR staff. I cannot assist you. I cannot give
Hmm.
you an idea how these things are. I mean, how someone can help you to
Hmm.
migrate, because they are facing problem even in India. They cannot live in India. They acknowledge the fact.
Okay.
These Rohingyas acknowledge the fact they are finding their life miserable in India. Even the
How
political
so?
parties, because whoever are the political parties, they are supporting them. They are just using them for their political whims and fancies, for their own political reason. But they
Hmm.
are not assisting them for their livelihood. They are still living in slums,
Okay. So
right?
that's the
So
challenge.
they don't want to live in India. They are eager to go out, but they are using an illegal route. They are making passport, they are making Aadhaar card. Every
Hmm.
Rohingya living in Delhi, in Jammu and Kashmir, they have Aadhaar card. How the government of India made Aadhaar card? This is and Mr. Ashwani Upadhyay ji has raised a PIL, made a PIL also, submitted a PIL also in the Supreme Court of India
Hmm.
regarding regarding the fact, he has highlighted the facts how these Rohingyas are having these passports and Aadhaar card and voter ID card. They cannot
Okay.
be
So
revoked.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that once they are having Aadhaar card and voter I card, it is another challenge to revoke these cards.
What are the
How you can
challenges? Is
no
this legal
if
challenges or the technical one?
no, it is a legal challenge. If
Okay.
someone is claiming as a Rohingya and he has
Hmm.
acquired Indian passport or Aadhaar card, how government of India can revoke it, because government of India has itself given them the card.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions for you, Pankajji. Mr. Sasi Sekharji has been writing to you. Is India is going to observe this Rohingya, or what would be the solution? So what is your
No,
take on it?
no, I have already said that government of India has a very, they have a plan to deport. Supreme Court
Hmm.
has given a very clear-cut order that they should be deported irrespective of the current situation in Myanmar.
Hmm.
Government of India has nothing to do what is happening in Myanmar. Even the Supreme Court has said that they cannot do anything what is happening in Myanmar. So even the Solicitor General has submitted to the court that rule of law will follow, and they are in the process of identifying them if they are actually from northern Rakhine state in Myanmar or
Hmm.
not. But going ahead, I'll say that Myanmar government have never recognized these Rohingyas as their population. They say that they have migrated centuries ago from
Hmm.
the present Bangladesh
Hmm.
region to the northern
Hmm.
Rakhine state. So according to the government of Myanmar, they are not originating from northern Rakhine state, right?
Okay, so they have
So
already
basically
rejected.
they say that they are Bangladeshis
Hmm.
historically. So now technically they should be deported back to Bangladesh, because
Okay.
UNHCR is having a very formal, memorandum of understanding with the government of Bangladesh. They are also deporting them, the Rohingyas living in the border area, Myanmar and Bangladesh, and also Rohingyas who are living in Bangladesh refugee camps. They are
Hmm.
being sent to an isolated island called as Bhasanchar area. So
Hmm.
government of India should also deport them, because government of India is having a very good relationship with Bangladesh. They cannot keep this problem perpetual. Like you said, that the problem will the problem continue, or will it be perpetual? No, there is a solution. I have sent them some advisory. I have sent the advisory to government of India that they
Hmm.
should be deported legally, following the rule of law, to Bhasanchar Island, to Bangladesh. This will solve the problem for us.
Okay, so I believe the Sasi Shekhar the question would have been answered. He must be, happy about the answer what Pankaj has given. Another question which Mr. Amit Kumar 040 is asking: could you please share some light on what action has been taken so far by the government of India, or what action should government of India should take when many NGOs body who are partners of a UNHRC India were named by NIA? So, what is your take on these questions? I think this is very important, and largely it has to be addressed.
Yeah. So we have seen previously that how NGOs ecosystem is functioning in India,
Hmm.
right? NGOs are involved in getting money from abroad, and they are violating FCRA regime, and they are using the entire fund for anti India activities or anti establishment activities. So
Hmm.
the different, like the Ministry of Home Affairs, NIA, and in the IB and the local police should work collectively to identify these NGOs, which NGOs is functioning for what activities. I
Hmm.
know a few days ago there was some post in some social media that there is one particular NGO who is getting foreign funds to assist Rohingyas living in Nu and district of Nu in Haryana through
Okay.
cryptocurrency, through crypto. So
Christian.
through no, there is a
Ah.
particular NGO
Okay.
who
Hmm.
are getting funds in the state of Haryana, in the district called as Nu and
Hmm.
Mewat, and the fund
Hmm.
are coming not through not through automatic route, but they are coming in the form of
Hmm.
cryptocurrency. So this is another way
Okay.
to
Hmm.
circumvent the law that is established law of FCRA.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
the entire agency should identify these NGOs. Even I have submitted one advisory to question the credibility of these NGO partners, and government of India should have a say on selecting these NGOs also. Who can be, which NGO can function with UNHCR for a better transparency.
Hmm.
When UNHCR give them select them as a implementing partners, there is no say of the government of India, and it depends on how different NGOs lobby with UNHCR. Like we have
Okay.
seen, yeah. So this is the solution what I find useful.
Okay, another question for you, Mr. Bhagwat Rajiv has been writing that are you convinced with the step of Modi government has taken in this regard?
Absolutely, because we have seen, I have said many times, that no one was aware about Rohingyas issues from 2010 onwards till 2014 and 15. Few incidents appeared in 2014 and 15. People start identifying them. So we have seen the things have started evolving. 2014 and 15, people in Jammu identified them, and there was a push of Rohingyas from Jammu. So then they were absorbed by Hyderabad. They got settled in Telangana. So now they were also identified in Telangana also. Government of India started arresting them or detaining them in Jammu. Few were detained in Assam, many in Bengal, many in other areas, few cases in Uttar Pradesh, like many Rohingyas who were direct connection with Devband school, Devband Madrasa in Uttar Pradesh, they were also, identified by NIA. So I am convinced that government of India is doing a good step. Just it needs coordination from other state also, and it needs a collective state from our part also. Being a citizen of India, we should be also vigilant, and at
Okay.
least we can try to report it to the local authorities that I am finding this person as suspicious. He may be Bangladeshi or Rohingya. Unless we come forward, it will be even difficult for the state government also to identify them. Police cannot go each and every house to identify if some worker is, if a shopkeeper is a Rohingya, if some maid is working in your house is a Rohingya or a Bangladeshi.
Okay, so in nutshell, I think that everybody has to take a part on it to ensure that the India is free of illegal migrant, including Rohingya, who are very dangerous for the society and the country also, because NIA is also, catching a lot of people. They are directly or indirectly
No,
involved
there
in
is
it.
direct evidence that
Absolutely.
they are involved with ARSA and RSO,
What
and
is
we
it? Can
have
you
seen
just? Okay.
Rohingya Solidarity Organization and Arakan Rohingya Solidarity Army. These are ARSA and
Okay.
RSO. So they were involved in Bardhaman bomb blast also.
West Bengal.
Yeah, in Bardhaman there was a bomb blast in 2014 and 15, and one Rohingya, I cannot remember his name. He was already recognized as refugee by UNHCR.
Okay.
So when he was detained, when he was arrested by NIA, it was a duty of the UNHCR to report it to the government. But UNHCR hid this fact. UNHCR never told the government of India regarding his credentials, regarding his profile, and how he was given a refugee status, because it should have been acknowledged. It should have been found out during the interview process that
Hmm.
he has some he has some connection with terrorist organizations like ARSA and RSO. But UNHCR has
Okay.
completely denied this fact, and they when it came into the light of NIA and Minister of Home Affairs, uh, they fudged with the data, and he was a recognized refugee, and they changed the data and made him asylum seeker. So that is why I have
Okay.
said to the government of India that UNHCR is not sharing you the correct data.
Hmm.
They always fudge with the documents, and they fudge with the data they are sharing with the government of India. UNHCR is not sharing correct data with the government of India to the MHA.
But then what are the is the action is being taken by the government of India against those organization called UNHRC? If they are not
Yeah,
sharing the data incorrectly, they should be
yeah,
taken to task, right?
yeah. So at present, government of India is not taking any action against UNHCR. They have said it repeatedly that India is not the signatory of 1951 convention, so they will not intervene into the affairs of UNHCR, but they will take all the steps under the Foreigners Act, and they will identify whoever comes, enters the Indian territory without any documents, and they will be labeled as illegal immigrant, be it anyone, be it a Rohingya, be it Ukrainian, be it illegal immigrant from African nations.
Okay.
So the law will be uniform for everyone. Everyone will be deported, but as per the law.
Okay. All right, Pankajji, very, very thank you that you had joined us and you has enlightened with the information on Rohingya, which is very pertinent, issues in India these days. Precisely after 2019, when the second terms of Modi government came in, a lot of people, they at least, become vigilant to understand what exactly Rohingya is. Earlier, you are absolutely right. The people were not aware of what Rohingya it is all about. But it's very certain that the people of India and the government of India, along with the other state government, they should also exercise their own right. And I would congratulate you for being, vigilant and highlighting the issues that the country is facing precisely on the Rohingya issue. So thank you so much, Pankaj. We'll connect you once again with the broader issues on such things. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.